What's going on, guys? We all know that reading books is really good for us, and most of us know that we all should be reading more than we do, myself included. Reading not only helps us learn, but it helps us practice thinking. A lot of times I'll be reading something and I'll read something that I already knew but I didn't know I knew. So today I want to discuss 5 tips that help me get out of what I call a reading slump, where I just come home and I want nothing to do with reading at all. I'll go a couple weeks without reading, and it just is some tips that help me sort of get back into gear and get back into forming the habit. But first I'll tell you why I wanted to make this video. So for the past 15 years, I did investment research for a company that manages money for people. I would spend 90% of my days reading, and then the other 10% using what I learned to make investment decisions on behalf of clients or make recommendations to other teams of decision makers within the firm to invest on behalf of clients. You know, that might seem very complicated to some people. It may seem very boring to some people. I think the best way to describe it accurately is what a mentor told me when I first got into the business. He said that we're basically glorified readers. That setup might sound like good training to be able to read tons of books, but it was actually the opposite for me. I would come home exhausted from reading. And a lot of times what I would do is I would read so many research reports and historical analysis and news articles all day long that I would come home and I would just want nothing to do with picking up a book, and I wouldn't read books for, like I said, weeks at a time. My eyes were tired, my back would be sore, my neck would be sore, and I just wouldn't end up cracking a book to read things that are non-work related that I was interested in. That life certainly isn't for everybody. I'm not asking anybody to read until they're absolutely miserable, but I think reading, like cardio exercise, can be one of those things that is actually enjoyable rather than some grueling punishment we just put ourselves through because we know it's good for us. The good news is I've come up with a few little tricks to be able to develop a healthy reading habit over time. So I'll share with you 5 tips, including one that's a little embarrassing and weird at the end. So I think the best way to start any habit is to just start biting off little chunks at a time and do it every single day for a period of time. Usually 2 weeks is all it takes. So try to figure out a way to get yourself to read 2 pages every day. That's all it's going to take. It'll get you in the habit. You'll probably end up reading more than 2 pages, but that's kind of the point here. The only catch is, if you read more than 2 pages, you can't just carry over. You can't read 14 on day 1 and then you're done for the week. You got to do it every single day. Just tie it to an activity. Sometimes I'll just, say I'll do it every day after dinner. Sometimes, you could set an alarm. What works for me also is just doing it every day before I get out of bed. The alarm goes off, I turn the light on, the book's next to the nightstand, and I just read a few pages. And usually it's more than 2, but I start with 2 and you keep going. I think another way to sort of hold yourself accountable is to actually keep a physical calendar. I keep a planner and I'll just mark every day and I'll just see how many X's I can get in a row. It's also really important to remember that it's okay to be a B student. So this is one of the most important things that I've been taught in my life, and I think that it is applicable to many things besides reading. But the idea is, if you start something on a Monday, you say, I want to read every day this week, and it gets to Wednesday and you forget or you have too much going on, you don't just scrap the week and then just start again the next Monday. It's okay to be a B student. If you skip Wednesday, make up for it on Thursday, or just keep on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and just keep plowing along. Read 2 pages every single day, and before you know it, you'll be reading books again. So the second tip is very similar to the first tip, except it makes the first one a little easier and a little more enjoyable too. So I like to pick up these books that are just little digestible niblets of information that I can get kind of first thing in the morning. I find these all the time at Barnes & Noble or something on sale. A lot of these are just like 1 or 2 pages on any kind of random topic. This Oscar Wilde, Karl Marx, just kind of random things. This one has to do with history. Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart. This book is just a bunch of really cool little pieces of life advice that are like 5 pages long each. It's a really small book and you can read them in like 5 minutes. All these, Meditations, A Daily Dose of History. We have 30-second philosophies, 30-second economics, Days That Change the World. So, all of these, you get a little bit of information in the morning, you learn one thing every day, which is awesome. And sometimes you find yourself learning something and applying it to something throughout the day that you thought was unrelated. I think that's one of the best parts about reading, is you sort of develop this mosaic or this like mental lattice work of knowledge, and you just become more knowledgeable and smarter, and people think you're smarter, and life's more enjoyable when you learn every day. If you don't happen to have a stack of pre-segmented books at your house, that's okay, because you can make your own. What I like to do is go and reread things that I've already read, whether it was a year ago, maybe 10 years ago. I go through with a pencil because it doesn't fade like a highlighter, and if I want to, I can erase it. And I just reread what I already read. There's a couple of benefits from doing this other than getting yourself in the habit of reading more. For starters, the reality is a lot of books are only going to give you 1 or 2 key ideas, and the rest is going to be filler to fill 200 pages. That doesn't mean that those books are not worth reading. They might have a couple of great ideas, but revisiting those ideas over time, whether it's 5 or 10 years later, can be very beneficial. Another reason this is useful is because it's faster than going back and rereading the whole book. Now, sometimes that's certainly a useful exercise. I think sometimes in life when I highlight things, what I needed to hear as a 20-year-old versus what I needed to hear as a 30-year-old are 2 different things. And so I still have the option to go back and erase what I had already written and reread the book from scratch if I want to. Or if it's the type of book where I just want to get 1 or 2 key ideas, I can quickly go back and reference those, and it's almost like I read the whole book again. Next is the 20-20-20 rule. This is most commonly discussed as a way to minimize eye fatigue for people who are staring at computers all day, but I find that it's helpful for staring at pages too. The idea is that you want to, every 20 minutes, you want to stare at something or focus on something that's 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So you're 20-20-20. I just use this as an opportunity to get up, get the blood flowing. You can set an alarm for every 20 minutes or just get up when your eyes start to feel tired. I think it's a good opportunity to go outside, get a little fresh air, and then come right back to it and read a little more. Every 20 minutes, 20 feet away for 20 seconds, and you'll be able to read a lot longer because your eyes will get tired a lot less quickly. Oh, hey there. I didn't see you. I was too busy being intellectual. Oh wait, it's R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. You know, if all else fails, sometimes I just like to hop into a little bit of nostalgia. You're just reading a super easy book, you're getting yourself in the habit, the muscle memory of finding a nice comfortable place to sit there for a while and stare at something. It really works. You can find a lot of criticism out there if you look about reading childish books, but hey, it's a means to an end, right? So I say, do you. Sometimes you gotta crawl before you can run. So I say, what better way to crawl than to read The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam or Deep Trouble, absolute banger. My personal favorite, Welcome to Camp Nightmare. There's quite the twist at the end of this one. There you have it, guys. If all these things don't get you reading books, then you just don't want to read books, now do you? So there you have it, guys. A few tips I use to trick myself into reading and educating myself, even when it's the last thing I want to do in the moment. I think discipline for the sake of discipline can be very valuable. It's just that reading is one of those things that's a lot more accessible and a lot more enjoyable than, say, going for a long run or taking a cold shower. So use all or just one of these things to figure out a way to get yourself to sit down in a comfortable spot, crack open a book, and the rest will be easy, enjoyable, and rewarding. I really appreciate you guys sticking around to the end with me. If you're interested in more content like this, or if you're interested in all things personal improvement, finance, and fitness related, please like and subscribe, and I see you guys next time. Peace.